So the latest chapter of Chainsaw Man Part 2 has been blowing up online recently. I've been seeing it non-stop in my X feed. The big thing that people are freaking out about though is the fact that Denji got a hand job. Yeah, that's a big deal. Denji, as some of you might know from Part 1, has been kind of a notorious simp. Has the very teenager desire to get laid, so that has been the driving factor for a lot of his motivation. And now in the latest chapter, he got what he wanted for the most part, but in order for you to really understand why this chapter happened, you definitely need the context behind it, because it's not just as simple as Denji got a happy ending. So in order to understand it, I have to go over the basics of Chainsaw Man Part 2. Obviously, it's very complicated, so I'll have to give you a very quick, brief overview and skip over some stuff. So Chainsaw Man Part 2 introduces us to a new character, Asa, who under some circumstances found herself possessed by the war devil Yoru. Yoru wants to defeat Chainsaw Man and become the strongest, yada yada yada. And so originally her plan is to use Asa to seduce Denji in order to use him as her personal weapon. However, they actually fail to seduce Denji, believe it or not, but Asa does end up developing some feelings for him, which is reflected in Yoru. And even if she does not have that same human connection, she still kind of has that empathy with Asa, I suppose. So eventually Yoru changes up her plan to try to defeat Chainsaw Man, and Asa, after learning that Chainsaw Man is actually Denji, goes along with the plan under the assumption that once Chainsaw Man is defeated, Denji will turn back into a normal human. Denji, of course, at this point in time, has not caught on to the fact that Asa is possessed by the war devil, or that they're two personalities or anything, or even that Asa actually likes him. And he's very reluctant to turn back into Chainsaw Man and to fight her like the war devil wants, because the last time he turned into Chainsaw Man, everything fell apart and he got sent to a lab where he was literally dissected. So, not good stuff. In order to bribe Denji into finally fighting Yoru, they offer to take him to a brothel to get a happy ending there. And he actually, being, the type of personality that he has, he actually wants to go for it. Of course, they can't actually take him to the brothel because it's destroyed, but this kinda leaves Denji in this moment of self-reflection to realizing that he is being selfish. There are more important things going on, but he's still able to be distracted and controlled by this one promise of having sex. As he puts it, he's always thinking with his dick. So obviously Asa does not actually know how to respond to this, so instead Yoru takes over her body and suggests that they cut off his dick so that it's no longer a problem for him anymore. Now, a lot of people didn't exactly know where this was going. I kinda knew that this was going to lead into some sort of sex scene, right? However, I thought that what was actually going to happen is Yoru was going to actually try to cut it off, and then Asa would take over to stop her, and then it would probably turn into a romantic scenario between them. What actually ends up happening is a little bit more twisted. Obviously, Denji changes his mind because duh. But Yoru grabs it anyway, and being this close to him, grabbing his dick, she remembers a memory that was erased from her mind back when they were trying to seduce Denji, where she kissed him in order to get further in that plan of seducing him. And then she, once again, kisses him, and he reacts to it. As he finishes, you can see that she actually turned back into Asa in this moment, and kinda puts together what exactly happened here with her other personality. And obviously people are drawing parallels between this shot and of course the shot from the Neon Genesis Evangelion movie. Yeah, I would be willing to bet that the mangaka, he seems like the type to have seen that movie and thought it was a masterpiece, doesn't he? So I'm willing to bet, yeah, he probably took some inspiration from that. And the interesting part about this is obviously Yoru is going for it because she realizes that she can go back to her original plan of turning Denji into a weapon and, you know, even better, turning Chainsaw Man into her weapon. And we wouldn't want another situation like in part 1 with the Control Devil. So I imagine that this happening is going to create not very insignificant drama. Obviously people are just happy that, oh yay, Denji finally got laid. Woo! But the context behind it is obviously a little bit more complicated. Denji might have got his happy ending, but it's not the happy ending. Obviously, there's gonna be more. This is going to lead to other places, and those places might not exactly be good places. Now, who knows if this has actually worked as far as trying to get Denji to fall in love with Asa or Yoru, because he does have to feel some sort of affection towards her in order for her to turn him into a weapon. And the last time they did try to do that, they got reversed Uno card, right? Where instead Asa fell in love with him, but he didn't feel the same way about her. And obviously, falling in love with someone is not just as simple as getting a hand job from them, although it might be enough for Denji, at least, to be incredibly loyal. He is thinking with his dick most of the time. It doesn't really take a lot to get Denji under your control. When you're a woman, especially. But who knows, maybe because of what happened in part 1, it's more difficult for him to feel actual, real affection towards a woman, even if he does want to have sex, even if he still has those sexual desires. Maybe there's a mental block for him. I was honestly pretty surprised when Asa went on those dates with Denji, and at the end of the day, she ended up falling in love with him, but he didn't feel the same way about her. Granted, she's not the most charming person, but we're talking about Denji here, someone who was pretty easily strung along. And then there was that other girl who entered the scene, who touched his dick. Even though he wanted to stand up to her and be like, no, I'm not gonna do what you want just because you touched my dick. I'm not that kind of person. Even though he wanted to say that, he couldn't say that. In the end, he did exactly what she wanted him to do. So I am curious to see the next chapter and where this crazy train is headed, but I'm not surprised that it turned into a sex scene. I expected a sex scene in the next chapter. Obviously, you expected Denji to actually get his dick chopped off? No. Once those pants are off, it's gonna be a sex scene. But like I said, I wasn't expecting Yoru to be doing the actual act, and unfortunately for Asa, she just got the end of it. Oh, this poor girl. I think I actually feel more bad for Asa than I do feel bad for Denji at this point, because a lot of shitty things that happen to Denji you can kinda blame on him just being stupid. Asa just has like the worst luck ever. And that is her character, is just that she has the worst luck ever. Poor girl. Anyway, let me know what you think about the latest chapter of Chainsaw Man. Comment down below, like the video, etc, etc. Subscribe to see more stuff from me, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye! Program restart.